Hi everyone, welcome back. If you watched the last video, you know I finished the knife. You also know how I screwed it up too. Well, in this video, we need to build a sheath for it. I decided to make a dangler style sheath because they're a whole lot nicer when you're sitting down. It's not jamming up on your belt because it'll lay alongside your leg. One of the other things I'm going to do with it too is I'm going to add a loop for a ferro rod. And I got a ferro rod at Sportsman's Warehouse and had this ugly plastic head on it. So I knocked it off and put this bit of antler tine on there instead. And it looks nice, I think. And I think it'll look nice with the finished sheath. Well, one thing I'm doing here is finishing the pattern for the sheath. I spent a lot of time getting it just right so it would match the curve, and then I laid it out on the paper and reinforced it with a little masking tape to give it some stiffness for tracing it onto the leather. I had a little trouble getting this one spot right out because of the curvature where the sheath is going to meet the bolster. Wasn't as straightforward as the other. And then I had to do a little repair to it where I kind of buggered it up a little bit. But a little more masking tape on it, just make it a little tougher. Now I taken the welt pattern and laying it on the back. I just wanted to see just how everything's going to fit with a knife to make sure I didn't have to make any minor adjustments to it still. And it all fit up pretty well, including matching the curvature of the bolster with the face piece of the sheath. On to cutting them out. Well, tracing them out, then cutting them out. I had some trouble with the pencil not marking on the leather for some reason. I think I'm going to have to start using a softer lead pencil for drawing out my pattern. As you can see, I swapped over to using a magic marker to really show the pattern. Here, going at it with the pencil again. I found that going over the pencil mark with a fine tip magic marker made it a lot easier for me anyway to get a good cutting of the leather. One thing I did or before I started actually cutting, is I put a brand new razor blade in the knife, just because I didn't want any nasty cuts from a dull knife blade. Now here I'm using a groover to establish my stitch lines on the face.
That really sucked.
And I was having trouble with it because it wasn't cutting the groove very well, but I made it work. Now we're going to start dyeing it. I actually took a couple of coats of dye because it didn't come out as dark as I wanted it. Only do a portion of the inside. Doesn't require the whole inside to be dyed, just the parts that are going to be visible. That's why you see on the welt there I only hit the tips of it. Same with the back side. The interior didn't get dyed as much where it won't be seen. No reason to waste a dye. I already put the snaps in on both the back and on the front. And have the welt glued in. Now we're gluing in the front, putting the final little bit of glue here. That contact cement sticks really well immediately, but massaging it with a hammer really helps set it up in place. I was pretty happy with it. So now I'm going to finish drilling out my already laid out sewing holes so that I can get it sewed up. Could have done this on the drill press, but using the little handheld drill, it worked quicker and easier. And now for the sewing. I actually really enjoy doing the saddle stitching. Now on the first pass, or the first stitch, I always put a nice knot in it so that it locks the base or the starting point of the stitching up nice and tight. The knot hides itself inside the leather, and it works really well. I tend to throw one or two in during each little run of stitching as I go, like right there. I don't know, it just makes me feel more secure about the stitching. The other thing I do is with each run I go back and go over it again. I'm using artificial sinew to do the stitching, and it's a little thin. It needs an extra pass for a little filler. Now I was lucky. I guesstimate about how much I need to do the pass, and as you can see, I'm right there at the end of my sinew with almost no leftover for cutting it off. So I put a little extra on this for doing the second pass on the back side. Once I got finished with all the stitching, I took it over to the belt sander and dressed up the edges a little bit, and then I burnished the edges so they looked nice, and hit them with a little edge coat to give it a really nice finished look. You know, I spent a lot of time putting that dust collecting system on there, and as you can see, I didn't even bother to hook it up, and it's making a mess. Oh well, could be worse, I suppose. We finished the sheath, and it's right here. I think it turned out pretty well. Knife fits in it pretty good, and so does the ferro rod. So there we have completed dangler sheath, knife and ferro rod. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. See you next time.